Hello and welcome to Blank Plate, a podcast for Swifties with an appetite.
I'm Sara, and I used to be a little kid with glasses and a twin-size bed.
I'm Laura, and I'm a mess, but I'm the mess that you wanted.
And we've got a blank plate, baby, and we'll write your name. Hello.
Welcome, everybody.
Recording on a Sunday morning, which we've never done before. I don't think.
This is how I want to do it. This is ideally, Sara, if our Patreon continues to be a success, this is how I'd want to do it. I'm clocking in at 8:30 with my coffee.
Right.
Like, this is the way I want to do it.
You got your coffee.
Yeah. So this is just practice for the future.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
That's how I'm viewing it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Manifest.
Yeah. I am a morning person. So if you thought I'm annoying before, wait till today.
Yeah, I'm also a morning person technically, but not as much as you, Laura. Like, you're like a 6 a.m. morning person. And I'm like,
I'm up at
more of like an 8 a.m.
I'm up at 5 every day.
You know?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, let's catch up. What's going
plates?
on? We both said at the same time.
Right. For me, let's see. Definitely enjoying the clock change and the weather change. Like, I feel like spring has finally arrived. Just nice. But also this past week, I've had some car troubles where my check engine light came on, which is never fun.
The worst.
And I took it in, and when I dropped it off, I said to Josh, I'm like, I'm really worried that they're going to come back and it's going to be like $2,000. And turns out it was $4,600. So yeah, and my car, I've had my car for 13 years. I love it. It's a Prius. It's the only car I've ever owned. It has been very good to me. And
how many miles do you have on it? Tell the audience.
291,000 miles.
Insane.
Yeah, like I have always said, like, for me, a car is purely utilitarian. I do not understand people who like buy cars for fun. So I'm like, I will be driving this car until it literally dies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the first time that I had to consider, like, do I buy my car a whole new engine, or is it time to get a new car? But ultimately I was like, no, this is not the time in my life for buying a new car. So I'm going to put this money into it and hope that it continues to treat me well.
Yeah. No, ma'am. We are not purchasing a car right now. This is not the time.
It's like, I literally just bought human eggs for the IVF process. So for like this to come on the heels of that is one of those adult moments where you're like, can I please just catch a break?
Yeah.
At some point in life.
I feel that. Yeah.
So anyway, reminder, please join us on the Patreon.
Hey!
That
help pay Sara's bills.
That $7 a month would be much appreciated.
Hey, man. Yeah.
No, I'm only half joking. But yeah, please also join us on the Patreon, because we are planning to have a lot of fun over there. So, you know.
We are. And just a reminder, our Patreon is linked, and our Patreon is where we give bonus episodes, Taylor Swift adjacent artists. We have a lot of fun ideas planned for the Patreon. Our first episode that we have right now on there is Gracie Abrams and Taylor Swift's song Us. So if you're interested in expanding your palette, pun intended, because we are Blank Plate, go to Patreon, support us. And like, honestly, guys, we live in a world where billionaires are terrible, but you can give us two middle-class ladies who love Taylor Swift some love by being supportive of our Patreon. So anyway, that's my little pitch.
Yeah. Well, Laura, what's new with you? What's going on?
I'm in a much better place than last episode.
Good.
I was like near my breaking point last time we recorded. So, well, first of all, I have to say, students, I know you're listening. You know you found me. I know that your moms are listening.
Cat's out of the bag.
Hello. Actually, I just have to say, I had a student, I won't call them out, but they are a Swiftie. And somehow we got on their algorithm, Sarah, which means the algorithm's working.
All right.
They came in class, they were like, I didn't know you had a podcast in front of the whole class. And I was like, oh, what are you talking about? What? You found me? Anyway, I'm more than happy to have my students find me on this podcast. I will say, this is me, Laura Topping, speaking.
Yeah.
Okay. Not my school district. So everything I say is my opinion. And I am a human with my own opinions and beliefs and what have you. So anyway, and by the way, explicit content is occasionally shared, children. So make sure it's appropriate for you. Parents, same thing. But anyway, Swifties, welcome, including my Swiftie students. So hello.
And their moms.
Yeah. And by the way, I love that the mom's listening. I love that so much. So
yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. So come one, come all. But anyway, I know that you found me. Make sure you like and subscribe. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's a little tangent, but I'm doing much better. My show is set to open next weekend at the time of this recording. We had our school preview a few days ago, which is always like the most stressful performance for our kids because they'll perform in front of their parents and community members. That's a safe environment. What's not a safe environment, which can oftentimes cause a lot of stress, is performing in front of their peers, right?
Yeah.
So I was so proud of them. It was one of those days where I clocked 10,000 steps before 8 o'clock in the morning, but it was so worth it. And we received a lot of positive remarks from our staff and music department. And it was just a really, really good day. So
yeah,
I
was
feel
that
like
the day I was texting you and I was getting like every now and then, like I get no response from Laura for like 24 hours. And then I'll text her and be like, girl, you good? Like,
you good?
Like, are you alive? You know, like sometimes I get a little worried.
Yeah. And I'm like, sorry, I am now. Yeah. Like, and then I'll respond to everyone's text messages in like 1 15-minute spell. And so yeah, that was then. So yeah, we have about 2 more rehearsals where we're just doing like dress rehearsals. We're recording it. We have a performance for the staff. And then we actually have our shows this upcoming weekend. So it feels like
I'll be there opening night.
Yeah. It's going to be so fun. There's so many people coming opening night, including my family, Luke's side of the family, you guys. Like, it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like now the kids just like have to do it. There's like less work for, like, I'm just sort of throwing my hands up at this point, and it's weird because there's so much planning. And then at a certain point you just let go and the show goes. So yeah. And then
take the wheel.
Vinny, my cat, was officially diagnosed as diabetic last time we talked, and he has started insulin treatments, which has been way less stressful than I thought it was going to be. It's just about like finding a routine and making sure he's getting the right amount of insulin. So there's a little bit of like figuring out and adjusting to do, but every day seems to get a little bit better. And
so
it feels
you are
good just
giving
to know
him,
we're doing something.
You are giving him shots?
Yep, he gets like the teens, Sarah, like when I tell you like the teensiest amount, like it's this small. It's insane.
Wow.
Of insulin in the morning at 6 a.m. and then the evening at 6 p.m. And honestly, he doesn't even feel it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he like doesn't even know what's happening. He thinks he's getting pet, and I just like pinch him and give him his little shot.
Oh, okay.
So not stressful. What was more stressful was like doing these blood tests we had to do for him and like pricking him and like doing stuff like that. That was stressful. But you don't have to do that often, just until he's like balanced out.
So I get it probably would be harder to give him pills than to give him the shot.
Kind of. The sucky thing is for us, like going away for a long weekend is going to be more of a thing. We're going to have to find a cat sitter or rely on family to come during these like hours where he has to get his insulin shots. So but my parents are more than happy to come down and do that once. But the problem is it's like twice a day. So figuring out that. But honestly, it's not like we go on a million long weekend trips where we're away that long. So we'll figure it out. And in the summer, he goes to my parents' house and they're like super routine schedule. So it's
Yeah.
they're saints and they're willing to take him in. So anyway, everything seems to be looking up. I also spent some time with my family member who's on hospice, and it was like a really, really nice time. And I feel like all I could have asked for was just like a normal hangout with this person. And it totally was that. Because you just don't know. You don't know, like with hospice, how quickly things can change. And I feel like it was a gift to be able to hang out with them and have it be kind of quote unquote normal. Obviously they look different and their energy is different, but like same old, same old. I felt like I left that and I was like, that was really good.
That's good.
So I feel like finally I'm able to breathe a little bit. I mean, there's still a lot of things that are like not going well. Like my cat is still diabetic and we're still figuring it out. And my family member is still on hospice, but I feel like my mindset is sort of lightened up. So anyway, I talked for a very long time.
That's fine.
I'm caffeinated and I'm a morning person. So there you go.
She's here, ladies and gentlemen.
She's clocking in, people.
All right. Well, let's get into Taylor news and updates.
Yes.
So one of the main things we want to chat about is the new Lady Gaga song that everyone is calling like 1989 Lady Gaga's version. Her song, How Bad Do You Want Me?
Yes.
If you've listened to it and you're a Swiftie, you're probably into this song.
This song is so good.
It is.
It reminds me of like college when you would just put on a song and all your girls would just be singing like while you're putting her makeup on. That's the vibe. And that's 1989 era too. Like, you know?
Right.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I listened to her interview on the Las Culturistas podcast, which was really
my favorite.
Cool. And she was saying how she almost didn't put that song on the album.
Girl.
And it sounded like, in general, any of her songs that are like too poppy, she kind of has this resistance, which they kind of were like, let's unpack that. She's like, yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. But it's like, obviously so glad that she put it on there because it's probably the most successful song on the album aside from Die With a Smile. Our favorite.
And Abracadabra, that's huge. Yeah.
Abracadabra is doing well. Overall, I really enjoy her new album. It's very fun.
Yeah, me too. Big fan. I think Luke had told me that you were a huge Lady Gaga fan, like during her beginning. I was too.
Yeah.
So like, I'm really happy that. Yeah. I'm really happy that like Lady Gaga is reheating her nachos, aka she's like back, baby. She's back.
Yeah. Yeah. Her album, The Fame Monster, is my favorite by far. I like kind of don't love her in between albums. I think Chromatica might be my next favorite after The Fame Monster. This album, this new one, is definitely up there for me, but it does have a couple skips for me. So it's like if we took a couple of those songs off, it would be like a perfect album for me.
Yeah, I just feel like with and like this might be a whole Patreon episode, but I feel like I love when a pop artist has a specific sound and you hear it and you're like, that's a Taylor Swift song, or that's a Lady Gaga song. And I feel like Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift have this sort of like production or just like structure of their songs that you can clock really easily. And I feel like this is sort of the best of both worlds because like Lady Gaga tapped into the Taylor Swift of it all. And Lady Gaga also has really like zeroed in on like her sound. And yeah, I just feel like Mayhem is heavy on rotation right now for me. So I'm happy.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Other Taylor news. We are patiently awaiting the exclusive, never before seen performance at the iHeartRadio Awards by Miss Taylor Swift. Which is happening tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah,
okay.
I am
at the time of this
to watch it
tomorrow
at the hotel in Harrisburg because we're headed there tonight. Yeah. Well, I heard that it's a recorded performance from night one of the Eras tour.
Yeah.
So I'm in the camp where my guess is it'll be one of the surprise songs like Tim McGraw. Maybe with the like debut announcement coming after. I don't know, because we've already seen the whole concert in the concert movie. So like the surprise songs from night one seem to be the only thing that we like haven't seen before.
I have a guess. Yeah, I'm clowning, but I think this never before seen performance is going to be like essentially her warming up, like pre-tour, and it's behind the scenes footage for a documentary. Technically a performance. It's her rehearsing Tim McGraw or whatever her surprise songs are. And then it basically is a performance that we're seeing, but then it's also like behind the scenes clips of the Eras Tour, which leads to documentary announcement. Maybe?
That would be cool.
Right? That's my clownage. But it is interesting. It's like from night one of the Eras Tour. It's like, why specifically tell us that, you know?
Yeah. Also, we have not even confirmed that Taylor will be there.
Right.
But I feel like she has to be there. Her and Travie.
Well, Travie will be there, so.
Hopefully.
We'll see. Okay.
Well, I will be watching.
Like, I have to tell you, just 24 hours ago, I learned a totally random Taylor connection. So this is alleged because I heard this through other people. Cannot confirm officially, but our high school that I teach at is doing a performance of Singing in the Rain. Okay. And in that musical, the iconic scene from that is when the Gene Kelly character is singing in the rain. So they have real rain that's coming down, like water is falling. So being that we have students that are children of the Clare brothers who run Rock Lidditz, one of the only spaces in the United States where artists can rehearse their tours, and they have built all sorts of like structures there and whatever. Anyway, so a lot of artists fly into our neighborhood to go to Rock Lidditz and practice perform for their tours. Anyway, long story short, we have some of their children in our district. And anyway, mom reaches out and says, hey, if there's anything you guys need, let us know. And our tech sound guy said, hey, we really need microphones that are okay getting wet. And they gave for us to like borrow, not gave. They gave the high school these microphones that are like specially made to work in water. They can be dunked in, I think, like 15 minutes of solid water without it breaking. And they said, these are Taylor's.
Like actually hers?
Like the ones that Taylor uses for her tours, because she's notorious for doing rain shows.
So like the same kind of microphone, not Taylor's actual microphone that she used.
No, these are the microphones that Taylor uses.
Okay.
That is allegedly what is happening right at our high school, which I was like freaking out over. I was like, dude, like what?
Yeah. Those are probably expensive.
Really expensive. Yeah. So some high schooler is wearing Taylor Swift's microphone for our performance, which is so cool.
Wow.
I don't know if it's Eras Tour or if it's like previous tours or like whatever, but like this is the microphones that she uses for her rain shows.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we have a lot to chat about with our song today, The Black Dog. Guys, you should see the notes that we have about this.
It's crazy.
Which is why we have a podcast. Talking about our music, because we write entire like dissertations about these songs.
Yeah. This is why you tune in, okay?
Right.
Because we're going to get into it.
Okay.
All right.
So, The Black Dog from Tortured Poets, the Anthology edition. Original release date, April 19th, 2024, or technically April 20th, if we're being specific, because it came out at 2 a.m.
Right. That's right.
This song is written by Taylor alone, but then produced by Taylor and Jack Antonoff.
Yes.
And do we want to talk about the different pens
Yeah.
at this
So
point?
one thing I think we're going to do for all of the songs that we'll be unpacking on the podcast is categorizing it when we're introducing it as a quill pen, fountain pen, or glitter gel pen. This
Mhm.
comes from Taylor's own lore. So to explain what these are a little bit, quill pens, as Taylor said, is, quote, if the words and phrases are antiquated, if it was inspired to write it after reading Charlotte Bronte or after watching a movie where everyone is wearing poet shirts and corsets, if my lyrics sound like a letter written by Emily Dickinson's great-grandmother while sewing a lace curtain, that's me writing in the quill genre.
Well, Ivy. The song Ivy is a quill pen song.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about fountain pens.
Okay. Fountain pen. She has said, I'd say most of my lyrics fall into this category. Fountain pen style means a modern storyline or references with a poetic twist, taking a common phrase and flipping its meaning, trying to paint a vivid picture of a situation down to the chipped paint on the doorframe and the incense dust on the vinyl shelf. Maroon. Okay.
Maroon. Yeah.
Placing yourself and whoever is listening right there in the room where it all happened. The love, the loss, everything. The songs I categorize in this style sound like confessions scribbled and sealed in an envelope, but too brutally honest to ever send.
Oof.
Yeah,
She's
I would
such a
say
good writer.
definitely most of her songs fall into this category. Quill pen songs are probably the smallest genre.
It's most folklore Evermore songs are going to be quill pens,
Mm-hmm.
but the last one, glitter gel pens,
Mm-hmm.
quote, lives up to its name in every way. Frivolous, carefree, bouncy, syncopated perfectly to the beat. Glitter gel pen lyrics don't care if you don't take them seriously because they don't take themselves seriously. Glitter
Mm-hmm.
gel pen lyrics are the drunk girl at the party who tells you that you look like an angel in the bathroom. It's what we need every once in a while in these fraught times in which we live. Which I think a lot of people who don't know Taylor Swift's music think that she only writes glitter gel pen songs because those are
Yeah.
oftentimes her like biggest pop hits, you know?
I had a mild debate with someone recently, perhaps an admonishing, because they were like, and they're like a music person. Okay. And I
Okay.
totally understand if Taylor Swift is like not their style of music. But he did say something like, just like, he's kind of like, I just don't know if I really buy that she's a great songwriter. And I was like, excuse me, present your evidence. Like, what is making you say this? And he's like, well, I just, there's just like one song that I heard that I was like, what? And he was like, the lyrics were like, karma is a cat sitting on my lap. And I was like, okay. I was like, I need to explain to you about the glitter gel pen songs.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, no one's ever gonna like read the lyrics of the song Karma to you and be like, Taylor is an incredible poet.
Right.
It's like, but I will say that that song is a great example of her ability to write a song that is catchy and an earworm and makes you feel a certain way and have fun. I was like, but please do not take that as like her lyrical prowess. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
And then I think I read aloud to him part of the song, How Did It End? I was like, this is what we're talking about. I was like, but that's not
Have
to say
you
that
heard this song?
Karma is a poorly written song. It's just a glitter
It's
gel
not.
pen
Yeah.
song. Okay.
Right.
It's a
And
different,
it's easy.
it's a different vibe.
It's easy for someone who is unfamiliar with the breadth of Taylor's work to associate only her music as glitter gel pen songs because oftentimes those are the songs that are put on the charts because they perform well for the general consensus of listeners, right?
Exactly.
So anytime I have someone who's like, I just don't actually think that she writes good music, I'm like, oh, where do I begin? Where do I begin? Where do I begin? But right, explaining the pen categories is a good way to sort of like softly open up this idea that like there's more than just what meets the surface for what
Our
you're
girl contains
listening to.
multitudes.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, back to our categories. Is the black dog a quill pen, a fountain pen, a glitter gel pen?
Definitely a fountain pen song.
This is the perfect fountain pen song.
Yeah. Even like she mentions, what did she say? Oh, modern storyline or references.
Right. With a poetic
Definitely.
twist.
With a
This is
poetic
exactly
twist.
that. Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Too brutally honest to actually say 100%. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a fountain pen song to a T. So anyway, we'll be doing this hopefully for future songs too. What are our personal associations with this song? You go first, Sarah.
I love this song right away. I think I can't remember if I put it in like top 3 right after we listened the first time, but it was like definitely
Yeah.
in the top category for all 31 songs. It's like in the top category immediately and has stayed there. It's in my top tier of Taylor songs overall.
It's so, yeah.
It's in my mind, it's one of her best songs of all time. I'm obsessed with the production of it and the way that it builds. I think it's a great example of how Taylor's really good at putting like dynamic range into a song.
Yep.
And like the way that matches the emotion of it. Like this is not a flat song in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Yeah. It's also special to me anyway because it was the Black Dog vinyl variant that made me finally pull the trigger and order a vinyl. So it was the first vinyl I ever ordered, which has now taken me down a very dark path. But
Taylor,
when I ordered
Taylor
it,
has opened up an addiction for you through this specific variant. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and it was partially like when she announced it, I was like, oh, the Black Dog, apparently it's like about depression. And then also like I used to have a Black Dog and there was something I was like, I need to own this vinyl. I don't even have a record player. I need to order this. And at the time I was like, I don't even necessarily have to order any other ones. It's just like a keepsake.
Yeah.
And then here we are. Now I have a very nice record player and several vinyls.
It's a new lifestyle.
I don't regret it. So
yeah.
So this song is special to me for that, but also I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
What about you?
Same. It was one of my immediate favorites from the first listen. And like we talked about, the first listen is like always a wash, but I do remember this being like, how is this not on the main TTPD? Like this was the first track of the anthology. And I remember thinking like, this wasn't included? Girl.
Right.
Like, and that starts the anthology, which I was like, as soon as we like moved on to the anthology side, I was like, oh, great. Now we're in for like, these are not throwaway songs. These are like massively, enormously beautiful songs that we're about to listen to.
Yeah.
So,
and actually,
the like second part.
I just rewatched our video of us reacting to this song.
Yeah.
Because by the way, guys, I am editing. It's been like a year.
It's almost a year.
I'm slowly working on the video of us actually reacting to these songs in real time. But anyway, we both loved this immediately. And even afterwards, we were both like, oh my God, this song is so good. I love
so
this song.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just has the impact is like so real in this song. But I love this is like classic Taylor because the lyric "Old habits die screaming" is like obviously what fueled this whole idea of this song. But I kept thinking like, okay, is she the old habit where like the guy is constantly just like bringing a new chick into a bar and like moving on and like just like a serial sort of like whatever? Is she the old habit? Like his old habit is just like moving on from girls and just like dating and just like breaking hearts? Or is it her old habit of pining after this man who is like this lover that she like put on a pedestal and like, you know, whatever. It's just like, it's riddled with like so much to unpack. But it's also sort of like packaged as this just pop punk sort of homage to like devastated grief, anger. Like it's just like so beautiful. So this song is phenomenal. And when we were like, what song are we going to do next? I was like, why have we not done the Black Dog yet? Hello.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
let's get into the lore, shall we?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've already kind of touched on it, but this song is so like devastated and angry, and it's so obviously grieving.
Yeah.
Like it's like depression and anger, which a lot of the songs on this album, I would say, are depression and anger like intertwined.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was originally titled Old Habits Die Screaming. In her voice note, where we have the voice memo, like first draft of this song,
yeah,
she says, "Hey, so this is called Old Habits Die Screaming,"
and just plays it.
Well, and then also Old Habits Die Screaming, wasn't that one of the lyric snippets that she gave to us in the album rollout where we didn't know what song it was from? So she clearly loves that lyric.
Yeah.
She almost called the song that. I'm glad though that it's called The Black Dog. I like that better.
Yeah, me too. Like, it's not the thesis of the song, but it's like...
And I think it allows that part of the song to be more of a surprise when you first listen to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Although I could understand why she would call it that.
Yeah.
Also, I love how, like, I actually had to Google, is Old Habits Die Screaming a phrase that already existed? Because obviously I know Old Habits Die Hard, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, Taylor's so good at doing this where like she kind of creates a phrase like that or a twist on a phrase that like immediately feels like it's always been part of like the lexicon and like our culture and our language. Like, so now when people say Old Habits Die Hard, I want to correct them. Be like, oh, actually, it's Old Habits Die Screaming.
Screaming.
Like, you said it wrong. But like, I think of it, it's kind of like when you say now, like, help, I'm still at the restaurant.
Yeah, I'm still at the restaurant. Yeah.
I'm still at the restaurant. Like, there's, she's so good at creating those little things that we then just say, and they're so easy to like pop into our lives.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. So I was hellbent on, like, when we were researching the lore of this song, where is the Black Dog and who is this about? Well, first of all, before I even get into this, the Black Dog could totally be just a fictional name of a hypothetical pub or bar in wherever location. But what fun is that? Let's try to figure it out. Okay. So, so obviously the two sort of, I guess, characters of TTPD are Joe and Matty, right? So there are theories, both of which have to do with a real bar or pub called the Black Dog. One is in Vauxhall in London. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that.
Okay.
And that is obviously going to be a Joe one. And then we have the Black Dog, which is in Cork. And that one could be
that
about
in
Matty.
Ireland?
Yes.
Is Cork Ireland?
Yep, Ireland. So I am, after doing my research, 100% sure that the Black Dog is about Matty Healy. And let me explain this to you and as simplest as I possibly can. Okay. So the Black Dog in London threw off the scent for a lot of people for a lot because Liz Bottomley, the events and social media manager for the restaurant group that manages the Black Dog in London, said that she wouldn't confirm or deny anything, but she hinted that, quote unquote, a certain blonde regular was often seen at her pub. Essentially, she said she never saw Taylor there, which made people think Joe Alwyn is blonde. This song is about Joe Alwyn in the pub in London, right? And I'll include a link to like this whole interview with that bar, which is honestly really great because now that bar is a tourist attraction in London. Like people go, like if we would go to London, we're going there. Obviously,
yeah, we're going there.
Right? But I truly do believe that this is about Matty because there is a Black Dog bar in downtown Cork, Ireland, where the 1975 played a show on June 13th. Note how her lyric says bar not pub. Okay. So there
Okay.
isn't
Yeah.
there is a difference between a bar and a pub.
Mm-hmm.
As Americans, they seem the same to us, but they are different.
What is a pub like is also known for serving food, I would think.
Serving food. I guess a bar is more just like alcohol and drinks driven.
Mm-hmm.
A pub is
Yeah.
more like a sit down place where people go after work. You
Can
might
have a
stay there
meal.
later. Right. But
Yeah.
eating is more part of the culture. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Also, English people chime in and fix any errors we make, please. Okay.
Right.
I'm about to get totally eaten alive on social media. I know this is going to happen. Anyway, so the Black Dog pub in London
Yeah.
is not one of the neighborhoods that Joe even is associated with anyway. But my point is, on June 13th, the 1975 played in Cork, which is where the Black Dog bar is.
June
Taylor and
13th,
Matty.
2023.
Yes.
Okay.
Taylor and Matty probably split before June 2nd because her performance crying at Soldier Field was a moment, okay? And here's another thing. Jack unintentionally spills the tea once again for us, okay?
Or
We know he does
intentionally.
this. Right. We don't know, but Joe has the lore, okay?
Yeah.
So Taylor's outfit when recording the Black Dog was shared in a post that Jack shared on Instagram. She's wearing a white tee and black bike shorts with a white logo down the side. Her hair is in a ponytail. There
Right.
are no pap walks of her seen wearing that specific outfit. However, on June 22nd, there are some pictures of her wearing an Eagles sweatshirt and black biker shorts. So there's been some online sleuths who have found those shorts, and people have assumed that she was wearing a white tee underneath her Eagles sweater. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought that because in the same post, there was a picture of her wearing like a red and white corset looking outfit, which there are pap walks of her coming in and out of Electric Studios wearing that shirt. A lot of people thought that that was the outfit that she wore, which would have not made any sense because it was like while they were still together. However, this outfit is not the same. Okay. It's not the same outfit. It's a totally different day that they recorded this. The day that she wore this actual outfit was on June 22nd, which would have been about a week after the 1975 played in Cork. Okay. So math. Okay. They broke up around June 2nd. Taylor performs Soldier Field. She's heartbroken. 1975 plays in Cork, Ireland, where there is a black dog on June 13th. Taylor looks at her phone, sees location of said person. Next week, she's in the recording studio performing the Black Dog.
Right.
Does the timeline make sense?
It makes sense. Okay. In my mind, this has always been a Joe song. I understand.
It's not. I hate to break it to you. It's not. It's not.
Listen,
it's not.
Listen. In general, my main hang up with this is I cannot imagine Matty sharing his location with her. I really
totally
struggle with that.
That's love bombing, baby.
Maybe.
Seriously.
But I will say, like, I've always thought it was more of a Joe song, or maybe even kind of like a mashup about Joe and Matty, like a general breakup depression kind of song inspired by both of them. But I will say that by the time I got to the end of doing our notes, I was like, okay, I think this is
Sarah, all the songs that are callbacks are Matty songs. You'll see, guys. All the songs that are referenced in this song are Matty songs. Very clearly Matty songs. Like, I'm sorry. This is a Matty song. Okay? If you are not a believer, I'm going to convince you by the end of this episode. This is a Matty song. Okay? I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. This is not a Joe song. Joe does not listen to the starting line.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're probably right. Well,
anyway,
maybe, but yeah, it probably is a Matty song.
Okay,
but it just adds to the craziness of like how I, for one, when they were together, Taylor and Matty, I was like, this is nothing. Like, this is such a fling. This is a rebound. It didn't last long. Taylor's fine. And then we get this album, and I'm like,
I
had the complete wrong impression. She had me fooled. She had me completely fooled.
Red herring. Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying.
Listen,
I'm allowing myself to be convinced.
Listeners, be open to this possibility. I promise that by the end of this, you'll understand. Okay. Just know that right now, the recording timeline still insinuates that it would totally make sense that this is a Matty song based off of their breakup timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. So could it potentially be inspired by a fictional situation? 100%. 100%. Because Taylor obviously went through 2 pretty devastating breakups within this time period. But I tend to think this is a Matty song. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, so the black dog is also a term for depression. Like in English and Scottish folklore, the black dog is the legend of a spectral hellhound who roams the moors.
Sad. Spooky.
Yeah. But also like fits with the whole theme of, this bar, the Black Dog Bar, being over there and not in America. Like this is about one of her British boys, for sure.
Of course. And we have to touch on the Swemo of it all, okay? So Swemo is a combination of Swiftie and emo. So an emo who's obsessed with Taylor Swift. So I mean, I'm an elder emo, but I loved pop punk and emo music back in the day. So I learned a little bit about where Swemo comes from. There's a creator called Tina Bear who coined the term in May 2020 or 2022. And she basically made a call to arms for people who loved A Day to Remember's If It Means a Lot to You and Swift's Forever and Always, sort of mashing up these 2 songs. And everyone's like, I love emo music and I love Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you want to play the clip that we have of this?
Yeah.
Swemo
So,
song?
I mean, there are a few different bands on TikTok that have, they've done Swemo covers of Taylor songs. Cause especially, I mean, we'll talk about it, but the Speak Now album.
Oh my gosh.
Totally has pop punk influences. So a lot of Taylor's songs just work really well in this category. But there's a band called Call It Off on TikTok who has done a couple covers, and they did the Black Dog. So we have a clip of it. And this is that.
And it hits me. I just don't understand how you don't mix me in the black dog with someone plays a starting light in your club up, but you're too low to know this song that was intact right in the magic fabric of our dreaming. Oh,
it's so perfect. I need someone to actually scream that. That's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously in the song, they mentioned the Starting Line, which is a pop punk band. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm assuming the song that she's referring to by the Starting Line is the song The Best of Me, which I'll unpack later.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously we talked about her love for pop punk and emo in Speak Now. Such good tie-ins there. But tell me about your connection that you make. Because Sarah sent me the most random text. She was like, what does this sound like? And I was like, I cannot figure this out.
I was losing my mind. Okay. And this is so random too, because I wasn't looking for the whole pop punk thing,
Right.
But I went on YouTube because, they have these videos of the Dolby Atmos stems. So you can hear little layers of the song. And I was like, I just want to listen to it and see what else I'm hearing in the song, see if something triggers something for our notes, And there's this one section, we'll link the video of this creator who did this one. There's a section between minutes 5 and 5:30. So that's 30-second section where you hear these little harmony things that she does that I had never noticed in the song before because they're lower harmonies.
Mm-hmm.
But these specific little steps that she does, I was like, this reminds me of a certain pop punk song that I could like kind of hear it in my head, but I couldn't find the lyrics to like Google it. And I was searching like all these early 2000s like pop punk songs, be like, what song is it? And then finally I asked Josh and he got it for me. But it reminds me of the song Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
And so it's just totally random that I had that thought while listening to this song.
Yeah.
Also, Welcome to the Black Parade, and it's called The Black Dog.
Hello. Yeah.
It's just
It also
strange.
uses that like classic pop punk chord structure. So like it would make sense that like when you're unpacking all the layers, you're like, that sounds like another emo song. Right.
Also, just sidebar, like, holy crap, these Dolby Atmos stem audio tracks on YouTube.
Crazy.
Like the last couple days when I've been working, I've just had the playlist going in the background on YouTube for the Tortured Poets. And it's like, it really shows how much production and layering goes into these songs. Like even the ones that seem kind of stripped back and simple, like LOML.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many vocal layers and little orchestration, instrumentation things that it's like when you first hear LML, it's kind of like a simple piano song, right?
Oh, no.
But then you listen to this and you're like, wow, like Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff, we're doing a lot in the studio. And also, I'm just like, I can't imagine being a music producer and deciding on these layers and how they do things. It's just crazy to get like a look into their brain in that.
Yeah.
So we'll link the Black Dog one, but check out the whole playlist. Amazing.
It's really cool to listen to, especially if you're really familiar with the songs. You're like, I never picked up on that. Anyway. Going back to the pop punk of it all, we know that Taylor has an affinity for emo and pop punk music because of Speak Now, obviously, just so very aligned with that sort of time. But vault tracks of Speak Now include Paramore and Fall Out Boy, which Taylor said, quote unquote, influenced me most powerfully as a lyricist at that time to pop punk / emo bands. Taylor performed with Fall Out Boy's Patrick Stump for the iconic Victoria's Secret fashion show 2013 Red performance where they sang My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark. So light 'em up, light 'em up. So iconic. Where she's wearing like that hat. Do you remember like she's wearing like the American British like get up. It was so good. Anyway. And in 2019, almost a decade after the release of Speak Now, she did call out Fall Out Boy on the record, saying that I love Fall Out Boy so much. When she was being interviewed by Rolling Stone, their songwriting influenced me lyrically, maybe more than anyone else. They take a phrase and they twist it. Loaded God, complex, cock it and pull it. When I heard that, I'm like, I'm dreaming. Which, like, she loves a turn of phrase, right? So it makes sense that she's, And then Abigail and Taylor, Abigail and Taylor had an obvious connection over emo music because in 2008, they were both on the MTV episode of Once Upon a Prom, where Abigail and Taylor both donned emo pop band Boys Like Girls outfits and merch. And Taylor co-wrote and featured on Boys Like Girls song 2 is Better Than 1 in 2009. And in 2015, when Abigail was turning 25, Taylor threw a surprise performance by Chris Carrabba, who is the lead singer of the emo band Dashboard Confessional, which, if that ain't a friend, okay? Wow. That is amazing. So Taylor loves her pop punk, okay?
She does.
So, yeah.
That's why we want like a full pop punk or like rock album from Taylor.
Die.
We know she's going to crush it.
Oh my God, I would die. It's so good.
Oh, man. Well, after all that, we got to get into the song.
I know, right? It's been like almost an hour. We're like, okay, now it's time to actually unpack the song. Sorry, guys.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, here is verse 1.
I am someone who until recent events you shared your secrets with, and your location you forgot to turn it off. And so I watched as you walk into some bar called the Black Dog and pierced new holes in my heart. You forgot to turn it off. And it hits me, I just don't understand.
Ugh. Listen, the first time listening to this song and just this part,
I know.
we were already
Shook.
broken. Like,
Shook. Yeah.
also, like, leave it to Taylor Swift to write a song about stalking your ex on Find My Friends, and like in this modern age, like,
Yep.
he forgot to turn his location off, so I
Yep.
can just see what he's doing.
And we're like, she's so real. Like, because listen, we are both in very stable relationships, and I'm always like, wait, where is Luke right now? Like, is he at his parents' house, or is he at the high school, or like,
My God,
where is he? Like,
I stalk Josh all the time, like, because he's always like random places throughout the day with his job.
yeah.
And so sometimes I'll just be like, is he at the office? Like, is he has a meeting? Like, what's he doing? So then sometimes I'll be like, how's lunch at Lily's Sushi? You know, like, what are you doing there?
Mine is never that interesting. Mine's like, how close is he to home? When should I start reheating our food? But yeah.
Yeah. And like, for me, it's so important because a lot of times he's like at an event and he'll text me and he'll be like, I'm heading home. And I'm like, okay.
No, you're not.
Yeah. But I also know, like, it's so easy for him to get caught up talking to someone.
Oh,
when
yeah.
He's like walking out the door, you know, like these are like networking events.
Yeah.
So then if it's been like 15 minutes, like I can check my phone and be like, oh yeah, he hasn't left yet. Like
he's still schmoozing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about him. He's not dead on the side of the road. He's just still at the event. He's still at the restaurant. You know?
There are times in the morning where I'm like, oh, Luke's still at home. I can call him and tell him to remember to turn the crock pot on, or like whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just
exactly. Yeah.
So I am someone who, until recent events, you shared your secrets and your location with. Oh my God. Okay. So like, they obviously, until recent events is a call out to a breakup.
Mm-hmm.
I am no longer a part of your life. We're not sharing secrets with each other. But you forgot to turn your location off.
Which means like he's not even thinking about me.
No, I was one of the closest people to you. We were sharing each other's location. Like, we were in it. And you don't even think to like unshare that. Like, you don't even think about me.
Yeah.
I'm not even on your radar.
Yeah. Like, clearly you're not stalking my location.
Right.
Because then you might be like, oh, she can still see where I am.
Right. Or,
you know,
he doesn't give a flying F about what I'm up to, because he's not unshared his location. Anyway, crazy.
And like I said, my initial thought was like, would Matty Healy share his location with Taylor when they've been dating for like 3 weeks?
Dude,
but
yes.
I could also see, especially with how like contentious in the media and the fandom their relationship was, and if he was getting like death threats like he said he was, I could understand Taylor being like, please share your location with me so I can, like, if she knows he's like coming to her apartment or something, like, I want to make sure you're safe, or I want to make sure you got home okay.
And I also could see him being like talking rings and talking cradles.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, of course, babe. Of course I'll share it with you.
I'm so down. Let's share each other's location so we can stay in touch with each other when we're far away. I'm touring, you're touring. Like, come on. And also, let's be real. Matty would absolutely forget to turn his location off. Okay?
Yeah.
100%. Like, anyway.
Yeah.
And so I watch as you walk into some bar called the Black Dog.
Mm-hmm. And pierce new holes in my heart. So new holes means that she already had holes in her heart.
Yeah.
And now this is just adding more holes and more pain to what she's feeling.
Can you imagine, like, again, Matty hypothetical, you know that he's playing a show. It's late. You're like, I wonder if he's like, I wonder just like what he's doing. And then like you see his location move to like into a bar, and you're like,
yeah,
okay, he's obviously not upset about this. Like I'm in my apartment checking my phone, and he's just like out. So
right. Yeah. I also love the way she uses "you forgot to turn it off" here twice, because the first time she says, "and your location, you forgot to turn it off." So you forgot to literally turn his location off for her. But then, and pierce new holes in my heart, you forgot to turn it off.
Like talking about turning off her own heart.
Her heart.
Oh.
You forgot to turn off my heart.
Oh.
Like you left and left me here, but my heart is still on for you. Like, how come you didn't turn it off? You know?
I'm still pining for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then the way she sings, "and it hits me." I just don't understand.
How you don't miss me. That's...
Ugh.
Okay, let's get into chorus. Let's get into chorus number one. Here we go.
How you don't miss me in the black dog when someone plays the starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song that was intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming. Old habits die sweet.
I believe I might be wrong. I believe we paused after that. We were like,
we probably did.
I was
we
like,
were just like,
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Girl.
and even like listening to that just now, it's like chorus one is still so stripped back.
Yeah.
And you're like, she doesn't scream at this one, does she? No, yes, she does.
Oh, yeah.
She screams.
She had a little bass line. She had a little percussion. And then she screamed, honey. She screamed. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do want to talk about, she mentions how you don't miss me in the black dog when someone plays the starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song. Okay. That was intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming. Okay. So essentially she's saying you're in the bar with some girl who's too young to know this song by the starting line. That was so intertwined in like us getting together, our story, and this like sort of hope of a relationship that we have together, right? So the starting line, I was like, okay, what song would play at a bar, like a dive bar, by the starting line that would play and he would jump up, right? And I was like, obviously it's the song "The Best of Me," because that's happened to me, where like someone's, playing it and then it's like, and you're like, yes, oh my God, high school, right?
Right.
So it's peak 2009, like emo pop punk. It's such a bop. It would play in a dive bar. And the whole theme of this song, which I don't know if she did this intentionally or not, if this is the song, is about exes getting back together, reminiscing about how they got older, but they're still young. We never grew out of the feeling that we won't give up. Is that not Matty and Taylor coded?
Peter losing Wendy.
Exactly. So also it made me think of this line from Fresh Out the Slammer.
At the park where we used to sit on children's swings, wearing imaginary rings.
Wait, is that the one I wanted?
Yeah.
No, it's this one. This one too.
Now we're at the starting line. I did my time.
Now we're at the starting line.
Yeah.
I did my time.
The starting line gets 2 mentions in the Tortured Poets album.
And Fresh Out the Slammer is 100% about Matty Healy. Okay? And she's talking about how they were young. And it also calls back to this line from LOML.
We embroidered the memories of the time I was away. Stitching, we were just kids, babe.
We were just kids. We never grew out. They got older, but we're still young. Okay? And I want to call out embroidered, stitch, and the word magic fabric in this song.
Oh.
I'm sorry. This is a Matty song.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, and also for anyone listening, like I feel like we're alluding to something here that we haven't like spelled out, which is that Taylor and Matty had a fling of sorts in 2014 in the 1989 era.
Yeah.
This is when their story began.
Right.
And that's why, like, we obviously don't know the specifics. They never officially dated, but there was definitely something going on there. And that was shortly before she got with Joe. And then in the Tortured Poets album, we certainly get a lot of like alluding to the fact that she was still pining for Matty Healy while she was with Joe. And I think whenever she and Joe were going through a hard time, in the back of her mind, she was like, well, maybe I'll get with Matty someday.
Fresh out the slammer, guilty as sin, etc.
Yeah. So then she did get with Matty. And as we know, it was fast and furious. It was over so fast. It clearly messed her up enough to write a double album about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where like all these like references to them being younger, but now they're older.
Right.
And like not growing out of these feelings that they had.
Which I want to once again say is the lyrics from the starting line. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The song that is playing in The Black Dog.
Right.
Oh, it's just like so layered. It's so layered. It's so layered. Yeah. Okay.
And speaking of age, she says, you know, when someone plays a starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song, meaning like whatever girl he's talking to.
Right.
And flirting with at the bar, he jumps up because she's like, yeah, and she's too young to know. So if Taylor wrote this song before Matty got with his current fiance, so this is just a coincidence. But like Taylor knows this man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Matty is 35, which is Taylor's age. His fiance, Gabriette, is 27. So 8-year age difference. Not the worst we've seen. Okay.
No, but still.
But she was born in 1997. So she was 5 years old in 2002 when the starting line released The Best of Me. So compare that to Matty would have been 13. Okay. He's like middle school age.
Right.
He's like, yeah, the starting line. Oh, pop punk, emo.
Yeah.
She was 5.
Yep.
Okay. I don't think she has the same association with that song.
No.
That he does.
And it literally just lays it out there for you. I'm sorry. Like the story writes itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I convincing you yet, guys? Because I got more. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Let's get to verse 2. Is there anything else for chorus 1 that we didn't touch on?
Well, just like the old habit thing, like you were saying, is she the old habit? Which I think it could definitely be true. Like Matty doing his old habit of like the way he like goes through people or, you know, which I don't even know if that is like his normal MO or if that's just what happened with him and Taylor.
Yeah.
But I think just in general, like they are the old habit. Or like he's her old habit.
Right.
Of like pining for him.
Right.
And yeah, I think like them having this flirtation is the old habit. And she's in this song, she's struggling to let go of it. And she sees him like walking to another bar and she's like, I don't understand how like you can just do this. And
here I am again. Here I am once again. Like,
yeah.
All
right, let's move on to verse 2.
Okay.
I move through the world with the heart broken. My longings stay unspoken, and I may never open up the way I did for you. And all of those best laid plans, you said I needed a brave man, then proceeded to play him until I believed it too. And it kills me. I just don't understand.
The fact that she uses the word I move through the world heartbroken is like, just the word move is so devastating because You know, like when you're absolutely devastated and you're just like going through the motions, you're just
Yeah.
moving through, you're like devastated, but you keep pushing on. I can do it with the broken heart vibes. You're moving through the world, but you're not actually like participating. You're like kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
My longings stay unspoken, so I quietly still want to be with you. Like I still quietly am like, my longing to be with you is still inside of me. I'm not going to tell anyone, but like I still wish that we could be together.
It also reminds me of what's the one about locked in lowercase inside a vault.
Yeah.
From Guilty of Sin. What does she say exactly there?
I keep my longings lost in lowercase inside a vault.
My longings.
Lost.
Oh,
yeah.
So she says longings in both songs. There you go.
Check mark. What's again? There we go. Okay.
Yeah. And I may never open up the way I did for you. This line here, it like does something to me. Like I read that as like, I showed you so much of myself and felt so connected to you. And I fear that I will never have that again. Which makes me think of this part of the prophecy.
Hand on the throttle, thought I caught lightning in a bottle. Oh, but it's gone again.
I never made that association, but I get it.
Yeah, because in the prophecy, the whole song is about like, will I ever find love?
And wait, this is another callback. Hand on the throttle is like in But Daddy, I Love Him. Now we're, what is it? I'm
so high school.
No, I'm thinking of in Daddy, I Love Him. It's now we're crashing through the fences or whatever it is. So it's like she's got her hand on the throttle. She's ready to go, baby. Like she's like all cylinders are going on this relationship. Thought I caught lightning in a bottle is like basically how Matty is to her. Like I finally got him. Like I finally like we're going for it. Like now we're, what is it? Is it soaring through the fences or whatever?
I don't know.
That image of her like in the driver's seat with this person, like
like pedal to the floor.
Yeah.
Well, but she says full throttle, brand new full throttle in So High School about Travis.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't realize that she said throttle twice.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Some of these words are like definitely used repeatedly in different songs of this album. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is another Matty clue. All of my best laid plans, you said I needed a brave man and proceeded to play him. Okay.
Until I believed it too.
I believed it too. So this is timeline. Break up with Joe. Okay. Matty comes in, a previous ex that she's had longings for a long time, and says, you need a man who's going to be by your side, who will support you in a way that your previous relationship did not.
And I can handle all of your fame.
Yes. Proceeds to play him, aka not actually being that, but pretends to be that person.
Yeah.
And then it reminds me of this lyric from LML.
Oh, what a valiant roar. What a bland goodbye. The coward claimed he was a lion.
Yeah.
He claimed that he was a brave man, but he was a coward.
Yep. Oh. And honestly, to me, this is the biggest clue that it's about Matty. Like, I've actually thought about this one a lot where I'm like, okay, you said I needed a brave man and then proceeded to play him. That definitely calls back to the coward claimed he was a lion in LML, which we know is about Matty. So like all along, like I've been like, is this song about Matty? Like, is it?
Let her cook.
Yeah. And this to me, before us doing this episode, this is probably the biggest clue to me.
Yeah.
I also love how she says, and it kills me.
Yeah.
I just don't understand, because it's a more intense version of before where she says, and it hits me.
Very true.
And it's an example of how this song gets like more emotional, angry, and intense as it goes on.
Right. It's
like
ramping
it's
up.
building the whole time.
Right.
Also, her saying, I just don't understand. And the way she like repeats it throughout this song makes me think of The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, where...
And I don't even want you back, I just want to know if rusting my sparkling summer was the goal.
You're like, I just don't understand. I just want to know.
Right.
Why did
I
you
have
do
so
that?
many questions. Right.
Yeah. I don't understand what's going on with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Chorus 2. Here we go.
Okay.
How you don't miss me in the shower, and remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking. Do you hate me? Was it hazing for a cruel fraternity I pledged? And I still mean it. Old habits die, scream.
Okay. I'm going to once again tie it back into Matty. Okay.
Okay.
How you don't miss me in the shower and my rain-soaked body was shaking. So yeah, you could read that as she's shaking in the shower because she's wet and she's like, whatever. Rain could not actually be rain. It could just be her wet in the shower. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But let's think about that. How you don't miss me in the shower. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With my rain-soaked body. Let's talk about rain shows. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On May 7th, 2023, she played at Nissan Stadium for a 3-night run, but May 7th was a rain show. It actually had severe weather delays. Like, it was one of those shows where it was like, is she even going to perform? And she did it because Taylor's an absolute G. But
yeah,
Matty Healy was in attendance at this show and played for Phoebe Bridgers like he did for our shows in Philly. And I, once again, the timeline is like my rain-soaked body was shaking. I was freezing cold after doing this show. Okay. How are you not this person who consoled me when I was like absolutely physically weak and you were there for me or whatever? Like, what happened? I just don't understand how you don't miss me and how you were so accommodating and caring for me in that moment. It's so, it reminds me of this lyric from So Long London. Actually, did you come up with this one? I don't remember if I came up with this one. Okay.
I put this one in last night.
Okay. Tell me.
Yeah. The imagery is just very, very similar to this section of So Long London.
Wet through my clothes, weary bones caught the chill.
Which, that is a Joe song.
Sure.
So, you know, I don't know if this is necessarily like a clue that this song is about Joe, but I just think it's very Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, Taylor loves rain. She loves being in the rain, doing a rain show, but like rain is all over her discography. She loves writing about it.
Yeah.
And so like having this imagery of her rain-soaked body in the shower after a rain show.
Yeah.
But then also describing her like slowly dying in her relationship with Joe as being like wet through my clothes, weary bones caught the chill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She does love rain, for sure.
She does.
And then we get the anxiety spiral of all these questions. Do you hate me? Was it hazing? Which these like series of questions reminded me of this part of Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed? Were you writing a book? Were you a sleeper cell spy? In 50 years will all this be declassified, and you'll confess why you did.
I'm wearing a shout out to TikTok shop.
Yeah. Laura's got her Smallest Man Who Ever Lived acronym shirt on.
Yeah. Those that know. But like these series of questions is exactly the same as, do you hate me? Was it hazing? Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed? Like,
yeah.
how this cruel punishment of how you're, was it a cruel fraternity that I pledged? Did I deserve it? Like,
yeah.
Oh, it's just, it reminded me of like that anxiety spiral that she's having in Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. Like, did I unintentionally sign on to this treatment because I vowed myself to defending you and being with you? And
yeah, but it puts a little bit more agency on herself here because she says, was it hazing for a cruel fraternity I pledged?
Right. I
signed up for this, which reminds us of this part of But Daddy, I Love Him.
I'll tell you something right now. I'd rather burn my whole life down than listen to one more second of all this bitching and moaning.
Which also reminds me of this part of The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
And I would have died for your sins. Instead, I just died inside.
Yeah, like she's saying, like, I signed up for this.
Right.
I was ready to handle whatever came our way. And then she says in the song, was it hazing for a cruel fraternity I pledged? And I still mean it.
Yep.
Like she's saying, I still want it.
Right.
I pledged to that fraternity and I have not changed my mind.
Right.
And then she says, old habits die screaming.
Right. Which is exactly what you were talking about. This is my old habit. I'm once again pining for you, wanting to be with you no matter what.
Yeah.
Oh.
I also think like the song The Prophecy makes so much sense in the context of all of this because like she and Matty started earlier, you know, like 2014 era. Then she was with Joe. And like I said, we get the picture that she was always kind of quietly pining for Matty. And even though she was with Joe a long time, in the back of her mind, she's probably like, well, if Joe and I break up, maybe I'll get with Matty. Like, here's this guy waiting in the wings. Here's my
and they had collaborated during midnights. Like, he's still around. He's still,
So she's like, I still have that option, right? Yep. But then that option crashes and burns so quickly. And then I think this is why, like, this album really came to her because, like, to come out of a long relationship that ends kind of slowly, kind of quietly, right? But then you have this situationship fling that like burns hot and bright. And then that ends. And then it's like, after all that, then you're left sitting there being like, well, what do I have now?
Right.
Like now I am truly just alone.
Right.
And will anyone ever truly love me? Will anyone ever truly sign up for this life of mine? Like, that's where it's like it's like the two breakups kind of converge into one grief spiral.
Yeah.
Which is this album. And if I were like, I remember when she and Joe broke up, I was like, oh my God, how is Taylor Swift supposed to date? Like, I mean, and then she got with Matty and I was like, okay. But then she and Matty broke up and, like, thank God for Travis. Like, Travis, I really, really hope that they make it. I really do.
I feel like Taylor needs a brave man.
She does.
Like, she needs a brave man. And I think that she thought she had a taste of that with Matty because he proceeded to play him.
Yeah.
But
like, who knew that the goofball football player was actually the brave man who could handle her fame and her lifestyle and thrive in it?
Yeah. I think Taylor needs that. I think she knows that. But The Prophecy, you're right, is a great like sort of summary of like both of those things converging into this like crash out devastation, like of both of these happening, where she's actually sitting down and it's like, oh my God, is this what I'm destined to? Like, is this just what I'm going to cycle over and over and over again? Like, is this all I have? Right.
Yeah. Especially because it sounds like the Joe thing came to an end in for kind of similar reasons as Matty, which is like, these people can't handle being in her limelight and the fame that is her life. And it is a lot to handle. Like, most people would not be able to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for her to think like, this is just the prophecy.
Right.
Can I change it? Like, can I go back and like, I don't want money. I just want someone who wants my company.
Should we do this for our next episode?
I think maybe we should.
I think that's it.
Okay,
we have to do the prophecy. Okay, you guys, that's next episode. Save it.
Okay.
Save it, Sarah. Save it. Okay.
Okay.
But it is layered. It's very, I also really want to do LOML. So, but we can't do too devastating. I mean, anyway. Okay.
Well, most of the album is devastating, to be honest.
All right, let's listen to the bridge.
Okay.
6 weeks of breathing clean air. I still miss the smoke. Were you making fun of me with some esoteric joke? Now I wanna sell my house and set fire to all my clothes and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons. Even if I die screaming, and I hope you hear it.
Okay. This bridge. Oh my God. Okay. I do have beef with Jack Antonoff, though. Why is there not an actual drum set in this song? Like, what is his problem with not including drums? Like
live drums?
Like live, like I need a drum set. I need a classic. Like, come on, like I need a drum set. Like, I feel like if this were on tour, it would have been added. Like, you know, like kind of like we had different production values of, you know,
like Who's Afraid of Little Old Me,
right? Like we would have gotten something, but oh my God, I need it. Why was that not added? This is a pop punk song. Hello, Jack. Like, anyway,
I don't know. It doesn't bother me as much as in The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
Yeah, I get it, but once again, where is it?
I don't know.
Jack's freaks.
Well, it kind of comes in more in the next chorus.
That's true. But I need it in that build. I need that like something. It just seems like one more drum percussion moment. I don't know. That's me being critical, but 6 weeks of breathing clean air. I still miss the smoke.
Yeah. Well, we can't move on without discussing, obviously, the song Clean.
Right.
Like just using clean as a metaphor for getting over a breakup or no longer being with that person. But here she's saying 6 weeks of breathing clean air. I still miss the smoke.
Yeah. Just because you're clean don't mean you don't miss it.
Right.
So, you know? So could you read this as a Joe call out because I still miss the smoke is London? Like London is known as the big smoke? Sure.
Yeah, but Matty's also technically British.
Right. And I'm going to lay out some other Matty clues from this I Still Miss the Smoke, okay?
Okay, yeah.
So in literally the song, The Tortured Poets Department, we get this song, or this lyric.
You smoked them 7 bars of chocolate. We declare Charlie Puth should be a bigger artist.
We know that this song is about Matty, okay?
Yeah.
Like, this is literally the tortured poet. Yeah, you smoked. Okay, here's another smoke call out that we can assume is about Matty. Hold on.
The smoke cloud billows out his mouth like a freight train through a small town.
Which we know again is about Matty because I can fix him. No, really, I can. It's not about Joe.
No.
Okay. And then finally, this call out. Honestly, we got to unpack this. Okay, this is in Cardigan. Okay.
The smell of smoke would hang around this long, 'cause I knew everything when I was young.
Okay. Why is Cardigan about Matty, you ask? I'm gonna lay it out for you. This might absolutely make you pissed, but Cardigan. The smell of smoke would hang around this long. AK, we already know that this is someone that Taylor is pined over. You'd be like, she's hoping that one day he'll just like show up and declare his love for her. Okay.
Right.
Never forget the moment when Matty and Taylor both mouthed, "This is about you. You know who you are. I love you." Specifically Taylor did that during this song.
Uh-huh.
Matty did this about the song when he was performing About You, which now
we talked about in
Yeah.
the Guilty as Sin episode.
we now know that they're calling out each other in their music. And Cardigan is a Matty song. Confirmation literally from the queen herself. Hate to break
Which,
it to you. Hate to break it to you.
I'm not a huge Cardigan fan. And I gotta say, learning that Cardigan is basically about Matty just dropped it down like another peg for me.
Ooh.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
Especially because she wrote it in 2020. I'm like, girl,
Like
what were
literally
you doing?
Taylor's writing songs about the exes that she wishes she was with Joe.
Yeah.
Yikes, girl. Love you. But like, what's going on, hun? Like,
Yeah.
but listen, we all have that person, maybe. Like, I mean, this obviously was heavy on her mind, like, even during folklore. So,
Right. Wow. Well, and then she says, now I want to sell my house and set fire to all my clothes. Like,
yeah.
this is so awful that I want to start over completely. Like, I want to be actually wiped clean. Like, and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons. Like, I'm so afflicted by this situation. I need to hire someone to get it out of me.
Right.
But
Exorcise
also,
me.
Yeah. Reminded me of this little tidbit from Invisible String.
Oh.
Something wrapped all of my past mistakes in barbed wire. Chains around my demons, wool to brave the seasons.
So, like,
Nuh-uh.
she used to be protected from her demons by her partner.
Yeah.
And now she needs to hire a priest to exorcise them. And then, even if I die screaming, so like, even if wiping me clean of this kills me, like, if exorcising my demons kills me in the process, she's like, please get rid of this feeling. Like, I would rather be dead than feel this way.
Right.
Right?
Get it out. I don't care what costs. Get it out. Yeah.
And that's why I think, like, old habits die. Hit my mic. Old habits die screaming. And then she's saying, even if I die screaming.
Right.
Like, again, she's the old habit. She's part of the old habit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to literally die screaming with, like, her screaming as she gets her demons exorcised. And I hope you hear it. That part is so good.
Girl.
That
I know.
Like,
basically, like, I hope you
bridge
know
would
how
not
absolutely devastating this is. I hope you know how terrible this is to me. I hope you hear how devastated I am. Like, listen to me. Oh my God.
This bridge would not hit the same without that last part. And I
and
I hope you hear it.
Yeah. 100%. Chorus 3. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
And I hope it's shady in the black dark when someone plays the starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song that was intertwined in the tragic fabric of our dreaming. 'Cause tail between your legs, you're leaving. I still can't believe it, 'cause old habits die scream.
Okay. We have to talk about the way she sings that last line.
I know. It's so good.
The end of the screaming being like a whisper, and it's like on the inhale, like the scream, like like as if she is like sobbing or something.
Or she cannot scream anymore. She's lost the ability to scream. Either she's symbolically like breaking the old habit, or she's or she's dying.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's like such a good choice too, because like it could have just ended screaming, period.
Yeah.
But like it's emotional. So
It is.
yeah. I mean, I hope it's shitty.
I mean, arguably one of the best parts of this whole song is what
Like,
she says.
hell
And I
yeah.
hope it's shitty in the Black
Yeah.
Dog.
Hell yeah.
Just overall, like the switch from sadness to anger, and again, like how this song builds emotionally
Yeah.
throughout and gets more intense, but also contrast that with this part of the song Last Kiss.
And I'll keep up with our old friends just to ask them how you are. Hope it's nice where you are.
I hope it's nice where you are.
Two.
And two, I hope it's shitty in the Black Dog.
Yeah. Yeah. It's similar to like who you are is not what you did to
You are what you did.
are what you did. Right.
Yes.
So growth, Taylor, growth. Yeah. So you jump up, but she's too young to know the song. It made me like, it honestly has this image in my brain of like a dive bar where like this guy's like so excited because this song starts. But like you jump up like, oh my gosh, yes. But like no one reacts because I'm not there with you at the bar. If I were with you at the bar, we would have had that moment where like, oh my God, this song reminds me so much of when we were young and we would listen to this and blah, blah, blah. Nope.
Yeah. So that's why it would be shitty, because you jump up and she's too young to know this song. And that's when you hopefully miss me and feel crappy.
Miss my presence. Yeah.
I also love how she changes the magic fabric of our dreaming to the tragic fabric of our dreaming here. And I view this as like growth in her mindset, and she's like pulling away from wanting this. She's being like freed from the spell. Like the old habit is dying, and she's realizing that this was like doomed and toxic, and she doesn't want it anymore.
Yeah. And do you remember how Taylor talked about how in fountain pen songs, she always has like a poetic twist in it? Well, Tail Between Your Legs, You're Leaving for a song called The Black Dog is a poetic twist because it's a literal dog reference. Tail between your leg, like you're fearful, you're a coward, like you're leaving the bar, the black dog with tail between your legs.
Yeah. And like deep down, you know that you messed up.
Yeah.
Because that's like a dog with its tail between its legs. Yeah, like it's like ashamed, it's embarrassed, it's scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe it because old habits die screaming.
Yeah, like I still can't wrap my head around this whole thing. Ugh.
Yeah.
What a fantastic song.
Truly. And like you said earlier, one of my favorite things, like music theory wise, is like this ebb and flow to the eventual like super huge build of the anger at the bridge. But even in like verse to chorus, there's like these waves of like restraint, and then it goes into anger, but then it flows back into restraint with these like dynamic sort of like swells. And the obviously like screaming with the crescendo is like so brilliant. It literally sounds like screaming. And also, I love that they draw back when she sings like, and it hits me or and it kills me, right? Right before the chorus, because we feel that real like loss and alone and like devastation before she absolutely like slays in the choruses. So there's this constant like pushback and restraint to full throttle like anger in the song until eventually we get our chorus 3, right? So it's so good. And like I said, I really want one more percussion line. That's all I ask. Okay.
Right.
Just like, Jack, stop being afraid of drums. Like, what is happening?
One of my favorite things about this song, there was a guy on TikTok shortly after this album came out, which I'm so sorry because I could not find the video. It's from like a year ago. But he talked about how the breath work in this song and the way she phrases the choruses is a lot like talking through sobs. So it's like, how you don't miss me in the Black Dog when someone plays the starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know. Like, it's just like, I'm like trying to I'm like freaking out. Okay. So you can really hear it in chorus one because you hear her like take these breaths, and it, like, we know Taylor can sing, right? She can hold a phrase. And you as a music teacher absolutely know this. Like, you would sing when someone plays a starting line and you jump up, but she goes, when someone plays a starting line and you jump up. Like, it's choppy. It's not how you would actually sing it. So it really adds to that emotional aspect of it.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
Listen to chorus one and listen for that.
How you don't miss me in the Black Dog when someone plays the starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song that was intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming. Old habits die sweet.
Yeah, I love that. That's such an interesting and very specific choice. So
yeah. And I think it's so cool. Like, and this is where I'm like, how does she, like, it doesn't make sense to me that she could write a song and think about all of these things simultaneously. Like, some of it has to just kind of happen naturally by accident. Like, it's just part of her genius.
Yeah.
But I really love that breathwork thing, because I feel like we've all been there where you're like, sobbing, like you're like venting to a friend, right? And you're sobbing, you're like, oh, like, I just don't get it. And you're like, I just don't get it. But then you reach a point, like the end of the chorus, where you kind of like, the anger gives you like strength.
Right.
And then you're just like, and I don't understand. Like, and then you can just like spew it all out, and the sobs have kind of dissipated. And now you're just like angry and yelling.
Right.
Like, this is what that song feels like.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did she do that? How did she do it?
Yeah, it's brilliant is what it is. It's such a cool, I never listened to breaths like that in her songs, but that's an interesting take of that. Because you're right, the like, if I were to teach this in chorus, it would be like, hold on, it would be like, it was chorus one, right? It would be like, how you don't miss me in the Black Dog when someone plays the starting line and you jump up. Like,
that's
like,
yeah, you're not taking a breath after like every other word.
No, that's
like poor singing.
Right.
But it serves a purpose here.
Truly. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, favorite lyric and rating. I'll go first.
All right. You go.
My favorite lyric is, hold on, I gotta find it. There it is. Here it is. It just, like, to me, the idea of like this song that is intertwined in the tragic fabric of our dreaming is like, I feel like when you're young, especially probably when hypothetically Matty and Taylor were listening to the starting line and connecting on that, there's certain songs, especially when you're young, that you're like, that's our song. Like, that's like a song that reminds me of this person. This artist is the artist I listen to that reminds me of this person. But like, the fact that the starting line was intertwined in the tragic fabric of our dreaming, like, I'm dreaming of being with you, but this is a tragic situation that I've weaved in my mind. I've embroidered in my mind. That's like not real. It's just like, it's so good. And I could have pulled like a million lyrics as my favorite lyric in this, but like, that's the one that I ultimately chose. But I just feel like the starting line and it being this sort of touch point in this relationship, but also like something that is being harkened back to in a million different ways in this song is like really, really cool.
Yeah, it is.
And my rating, I'm going to change this to yours. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. Like, I put 8.8. This is classic. And then I'm going to raise it like by 0.2. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. Like, it's just one of those Taylor songs where she just goes off. So
she does go off.
Yeah.
Yeah. 9 out of 10 for me. Like I said, it's one of my top Taylor songs of all time. It's one of the best in her whole discography. Like, that's all there is to say.
Yeah.
This is my favorite lyric, and I'm realizing that my favorite lyrics often coincide with my favorite part of a song. So it's like, especially when my favorite part goes along with like the lyrics in a specific way, you just can't beat it. And this is an example of that. So mine's a little longer than Laura's, but
that's okay. That's okay.
This is my favorite part.
Now I wanna sell my house and set fire to all my clothes and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons. Even if I die
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part. Also, I'm sorry, but if she can sing those parts, like, even if I die screaming with those runs all in one breath, there's a reason why she did her breath work that other way.
100%. Okay. This song.
Nothing is by accident.
This song is obviously very, I hope I convinced some of you. I just want to like, if you have Joe arguments, I'd love to hear them. I do think a lot of Taylor's music, if you decide it's about something, you can find a lot of evidence that leads you one direction.
Right.
So if you have Joe evidence, comment. We would love to unpack. Fight me. Okay. I'm joking, but I would love to know your Joe theories. But I hope maybe this changed some of your minds a little bit, because I'm sorry, the amount of Matty evidence is crazy, but
it is there.
It's there. And I when I was thinking about like what this song is as a recipe, I was just like, what is something that like that taste in your mouth that you get when you like are at a really terrible bar, like that's in like, the middle of nowhere or whatever. And for me, it's like a PBR served specifically lukewarm at a terrible bar. Like, it's just this like stale, not very good beer, like not refreshing, just something that is there to serve a purpose, and it's to like drink something cheap and get you drunk at a bar. So that's what it is for me.
Okay. Well, mine pairs with yours, because mine is pub fries that are cold and have been sitting on the bar for a while.
Yeah.
So you could say that they are soggy, like her rain-soaked body in the shower. But yeah, like something you get at a bar, like fries, but they're not good. They're not good.
No. Mm-mm.
And they have been sitting there and like collecting dust and just sweating.
Just stewing in its oil.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh my gosh.
What a song.
Well, it's so good. It's one of my favorites. I'm so glad we got to chat about it. Yeah. And like we said, probably doing the prophecy next.
Yeah. I think that should be our next one. So
yeah.
Also, don't forget if you...
Yeah, the iHeartRadio Awards, who knows? Yeah. We might have to do an emergency pod.
And don't forget on Patreon, if you're a member, you can sort of, let us know what you want us to focus on for episodes. So, yeah. Anyway, shall we sign off?
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to support the pod, please give us a follow at Blank Plate Pod on TikTok and Instagram. And check us out on YouTube if you're not already watching this there.
Yeah. And you can check out our website at blankplatepodcast.com and send us an email at blankplatepod@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 717-382-8313.
And if you're enchanted by what we're doing here, please support us on Patreon, which is linked in our show notes.
And until next time, we've had the time of our lives with you.
And it's time to go. So bye.
Bye.